Is your automatic car breaking down without you even knowing? Over 90% of drivers make these common mistakes, and they could cost you thousands in repairs. Today, we're revealing 21 things you should never do in an automatic car, plus a bonus tip at the end that could save you from one of the costliest repairs. Let's start off with one that's killing your transmission, and you probably don't even realize it. Don't shift while rolling. Ever switched from reverse to drive without stopping? Be honest, we've all done it. But what feels like a harmless little time saver is secretly one of the worst things you can do to your car. Why? Because your transmission isn't built to handle sudden direction changes on the fly. Imagine sprinting full speed, then instantly trying to reverse. Your knees would give out. That's what happens inside your car when you shift gears without stopping. The transmission has to slam the brakes on your car's momentum and force the drivetrain to adjust, putting serious wear on components like the CV joints and universal joints. It's like a tiny car tantrum under the hood, and it's not pretty. Sure, once or twice at low speed won't destroy your car, but make it a habit, and you're looking at some major repair bills down the line. And trust me, transmission repairs aren't cheap. So what's the fix? Simple. Come to a full stop before shifting. It's the easiest way to keep your transmission happy and your bank account intact. Number 20. Don't shift to neutral at stoplights. Shifting into neutral at stoplights might sound like a pro tip. You've probably heard it saves fuel or reduces wear on your transmission, right? Wrong. This so-called hack does more harm than good and could leave you with a hefty repair bill. Think about it. Every time you throw your car into neutral and back into drive, you're putting unnecessary stress on the transmission's bushings and linkages. These parts aren't designed for constant gear changes while sitting still. It's like pulling a light switch on and off repeatedly. It won't break right away, but over time, things wear out. And fuel savings? Barely noticeable. Modern cars idle efficiently, so that little flick to neutral won't save you enough to matter. Worse, it adds an extra step when the light turns green. A second's hesitation might not seem like much, but in a high-pressure situation, that delay could mean the difference between a smooth getaway or an awkward moment. Here's the truth. Keeping your car in drive at stoplights is simpler, safer, and better for your transmission. Don't overcomplicate things. Save the wear and tear for the open road. The next one? Well, let's just say it's the reason your car might suddenly stall when you least expect it, and the repair bill that follows won't be cheap. Number 19, don't drive on low fuel. Let's be honest. How often do you drive with the fuel gauge flirting with E? Tempting as it is to push your luck, running low on fuel in an automatic car is a mistake you don't want to make. Here's why. In automatic vehicles, the fuel pump is located inside the fuel tank and depends on gasoline for cooling and lubrication. When your fuel level drops too low, the pump becomes exposed, overheating and wearing out faster. Without that protective fuel buffer, the pump can overheat, leading to premature failure. And trust me, replacing it is no small expense. But it gets worse. Sediment and debris naturally settle at the bottom of your tank over time. When you're running on fumes, your fuel system is forced to draw from that sludge, increasing the chances of clogged fuel filters and injectors. For older automatic cars with metal tanks, rust particles can add to the problem. And here's the kicker. Low fuel can introduce air into your fuel lines, causing engine misfires or stalling, which disrupts your smooth automatic shifting. Suddenly, that harmless habit of driving on low fuel could shorten your engine's lifespan. Number 18, letting water ruin your transmission. Water and transmissions go together like oil and water, literally. Even the tiniest amount of water can turn your transmission into a ticking time bomb. We're talking serious damage that could leave you with a bill so high, it'll make your head spin. Here's how it happens. Driving through deep puddles or flooded roads can let water sneak into your transmission through the vent. A faulty radiator can mix coolant with transmission fluid, creating a gooey mess. Worn seals? They'll let water creep in without you even noticing. The result? Water-soaked clutch plates, rusted metal parts, and transmission fluid that turns into useless sludge. Not exactly the recipe for a happy car. You might think, it's just a little water. How bad could it be? Answer, very bad. Water compromises your transmission's friction material, causing the clutches to fall apart. Once rust sets in, it's game over. Most times, the only solution is a full transmission rebuild. So better keep your car far from flooded areas, check your seals regularly, and watch for milky transmission fluid. It's a dead giveaway that water's gotten in. Remember, prevention is way cheaper than a new transmission. Before we hit the next mistake, let's make sure you're not making another, missing out on more car-saving tips. Tap that button and let's keep your ride in top shape. Number 17, shifting into park while moving. Ever thrown your car into park before coming to a complete stop? Seems harmless, right? You're barely moving, just easing into a parking spot. What's the worst that could happen? Well, a lot, actually. When you shift into park, your car engages a little metal pin called the parking pal, locking the transmission to keep your vehicle from rolling. But here's the kicker. That pin isn't designed to stop a moving car. If you shift into park while rolling, the pal collides with spinning gears, causing a loud jolt or grinding noise. That's not just a cringe-worthy sound, it's your transmission crying for help. Best case scenario? You chip the pal and compromise its ability to hold your car in place. Worst case? You send shards of metal into your transmission, turning a simple parking mistake into a wallet-draining repair. Play it safe. Always stop fully before shifting into park. It takes an extra second, but it'll save you from months of headaches and some seriously awkward trips to the mechanic. The next mistake? Well, it might just be the fastest way to destroy your brakes without even touching the gas. Number 16, coasting in neutral downhill. Coasting downhill in neutral might feel like a smart way to save fuel, but it's actually one of the most dangerous and costly mistakes you can make. Sure, it seems harmless. You're just letting gravity do the work, right? Wrong. When you shift into neutral, you lose a key tool, engine braking. Suddenly, your brakes are doing all the heavy lifting. Here's the problem. Constant braking on long descents makes your brake pads overheat. Overheated brakes equals reduced stopping power. Push it too far, and you risk brake failure at the worst possible time. Cue the heart-racing panic. And forget the fuel-saving myth. In modern cars, coasting in gear shuts off the fuel injectors entirely, meaning zero fuel is used. But in neutral, the engine needs to idle burning fuel the entire time. So not only are you not saving fuel, but you're also putting extra stress on your transmission by shifting in and out of gear on the move. Stay in control. Use engine braking, downshift if necessary, and keep your speed steady. It's safer, easier on your brakes, and, bonus, it won't leave you stranded on the side of a mountain with fried brakes. Number 15, launching your car like a race car, revving in neutral at a red light, just waiting for it to turn green. It might feel like you're channeling your inner race car driver, but the truth? This stunt could be setting your car up for an expensive and avoidable disaster. Here's what happens. When you rev the engine in neutral and slam it into drive, you're forcing your torque converter to absorb a sudden surge of power. That's like lifting weights without warming up. You're asking for damage. Over time, this can overheat and wear out the torque converter and transmission. And guess what? Replacing those parts isn't just painful for your car, it's brutal on your wallet. And it's not just the torque converter. The excessive heat from launching can break down your transmission fluid faster, leaving your entire system vulnerable to slipping and erratic shifting. Some cars even come with built-in limits for how many hard launches you can do before the car says, enough. So, unless you're ready for a mechanic's lecture and a massive repair bill, leave the racing to the pros. Gradual acceleration is the real power move. Trust your reflexes. This next habit might prove you wrong, and not in a good way. Number 14, don't use both feet while driving. Driving an automatic with both feet might feel like a pro move. One foot on the gas, one ready to brake like you're in a high-speed chase. But in reality, it's a recipe for disaster. Here's why. Using both feet increases the risk of pressing the wrong pedal in a panic. Imagine needing to brake suddenly, but slamming both pedals instead. Now your car is confused, and so are you. This split-second mistake has led to real-life accidents where drivers unintentionally accelerated instead of stopping. And then there's the silent killer, brake riding. Even if you think you're just resting your left foot on the brake, you might be applying slight pressure without realizing it. This wears down your brake pads faster, overheats the system, and could leave you with spongy, unresponsive brakes when you actually need them. Modern cars are designed for right foot driving. Your left foot should be relaxing, not interfering. Stick to one foot, and you'll have better control, fewer repair bills, and, most importantly, a safer ride. Because the only place for two-foot driving? A go-kart track. Number 13, relying only on D mode. If you only ever drive in D mode, you're not using your car to its full potential. Think of it like owning a smartphone, but only using it for calls. You're missing out on a ton of useful features. So, while D mode is great for everyday driving, your automatic transmission has extra modes for a reason. Need extra power to overtake? Sport mode sharpens throttle response. Driving on ice or rain? Snow mode prevents wheel spin. Tackling steep hills? Manual mode lets you shift gears for better control. Yes, D mode is great for cruising, but different driving conditions call for different tools. Climbing a steep hill? Downshift for better torque instead of forcing your engine to struggle. Slipping on icy roads? Snow mode can prevent your wheels from spinning out. Want a little extra power when overtaking? Sport mode has your back. Think of it this way. Your car's transmission is designed with options for a reason. Using the right mode at the right time can improve fuel efficiency, extend your car's lifespan, and even make driving more fun. Plus, manual shifting in certain situations, like descending a hill, reduces brake wear and saves you from expensive repairs. Number 12, skipping warm-ups in cold weather. Mornings are rough, but your car has it even worse, especially in freezing weather. If you jump in, start the engine, and drive off immediately, you're not just making your car's morning miserable, you're setting it up for long-term damage. Here's the deal. When it's cold, your transmission fluid thickens. That means it can't properly lubricate the gears, causing unnecessary friction and stress on the system. Imagine waking up and sprinting outside without stretching. You'd feel stiff, slow, and probably regret it later. Your car feels the same way. A cold transmission struggles to shift smoothly, and over time, this wear and tear can lead to expensive repairs. The solution? Let your car idle for at least 30 seconds to a minute before driving. This allows the transmission fluid to warm up and flow properly, protecting your gears from premature damage. Number 11, using the wrong transmission fluid. Think all transmission fluids are the same? Think again. Using the wrong one is like filling your veins with the wrong blood type. Your car simply won't function properly, and the results can be disastrous. Your transmission relies on a specific type of fluid to stay cool, lubricated, and responsive. But if you pour in the wrong kind, you're setting off a chain reaction of problems: poor lubrication, overheating, and gear slippage. Worst case scenario, total transmission failure. And trust me, a transmission rebuild is the last thing your wallet wants to deal with. Some manufacturers are extra picky. For example, Chrysler's UltraDrive transmissions require a very specific ATF +4 fluid. Swap it out for something else, and you're looking at major operational issues. And if you think, hey, no big deal, think again. Using the wrong fluid can even void your warranty, leaving you stuck with a hefty repair bill. So, do yourself a favor. Check your owner's manual, use the right fluid, and don't turn your transmission into a ticking time bomb. If you thought that was costly, wait till you hear what's wearing out right under your foot with this mistake. Number 10, ignoring creep mode. Ever find yourself constantly riding the brakes in traffic, tapping them every few seconds just to keep your car in control? You might be ignoring one of the most useful features in your automatic car, creep mode. And trust me, your brakes aren't happy about it. Let me explain. Creep mode lets your car move forward slowly when you release the brake, without touching the gas. It's designed for stop-and-go traffic, parking maneuvers, and tight spaces where precision matters. But if you don't use it, you're likely overusing your brake pedal to control small movements. Over time, this wears down your brakes faster, making them less effective when you really need them. And it's not just about brake wear. Ignoring creep mode can make your car's movement unpredictable. Instead of a smooth, controlled glide, You're stuck in an awkward stop-start cycle that's harder to manage. That split-second hesitation to press the gas can even make you a hazard in traffic. Number 9. Overloading your car. When towing, your car might be powerful, but it's not invincible. Hitching up an overloaded trailer and hoping for the best? That's a surefire way to turn your transmission into a ticking time bomb. Here's why. Automatic transmissions are built to handle specific loads. Push them beyond their limits, and they overheat fast. When transmission fluid gets too hot, it loses its lubricating properties, turning your gears into grinding metal-on-metal disasters. Before you know it, your transmission could be slipping, failing, or outright dying on you, and the damage doesn't stop there. Exceeding your towing capacity strains your engine, wears out your brakes, and makes stopping safely a nightmare. That quick tow could turn into a roadside breakdown, or worse, an accident. The fix is simple. Always check your vehicle's towing capacity before hauling anything heavy. If you're serious about towing, invest in a proper towing package with an upgraded cooling system, because nothing ruins a trip faster than a fried transmission and a massive repair bill. Number 8. Using cruise control in bad conditions. Cruise control is great until it isn't. On a long, open highway, sure, it's your best friend, but in bad weather or tricky road conditions, it's a disaster waiting to happen. Here's the problem. Cruise control is designed to maintain speed, not to react to the road. Hit a slick patch of ice or a puddle, and instead of slowing down, your car keeps pushing forward. That's how you end up hydroplaning or skidding out of control, and by the time you realize it, it might be too late. But it's not just about slippery roads. Relying too much on cruise control can lull you into a false sense of security. Studies show that drivers using it tend to be less engaged, which means slower reaction times when something unexpected happens, like a sudden curve, road debris, or a reckless driver cutting in front of you. The fix? Keep cruise control off in rain, snow, or any situation where you need full control. Your safety depends on you, not an automated system, because when conditions turn bad, your reflexes, not your cruise control, are what really matter. Cruise control can trick you, but what you're about to hear? That's something no one talks about. Number 7. Taking too many short trips. Quick drives to the store, school runs, and short commutes might seem harmless. But did you know they could be silently wearing down your engine and transmission? Every time you take a short trip, your car doesn't have enough time to reach its optimal operating temperature. That means your engine oil stays cold and contaminated, your transmission works over time with constant shifting, and moisture builds up in your exhaust system, leading to rust and corrosion. And let's not forget fuel efficiency. A cold engine burns more fuel, meaning your car guzzles gas unnecessarily. Over time, this adds up, not just at the pump, but in potential repair costs. What you should do is take your car on a longer drive every now and then. Let the engine warm up properly, burn off contaminants, and keep your transmission in good shape. Number 6. Starting the car in the wrong gear. Imagine turning the key in your car only to have it jump forward unexpectedly. Sounds terrifying, right? That's exactly why automatic cars are designed not to start unless they're in park or neutral, a built-in safety feature that prevents unwanted movement. But here's the thing. If there's a malfunction in the neutral safety switch or gear interlock system, your car could start in drive or reverse, catching you completely off guard. A sudden lurch forward in a parking lot? A potential collision before you've even hit the gas? Not a great way to start your day. And beyond safety risks, forcing an engine to start while in gear puts unnecessary stress on the transmission, causing wear and tear over time. If that sounds expensive, it's because it is. The fix is simple. Always double check that your car is in park before starting. And if your car ever attempts to start in gear, that's a major red flag. Get it checked ASAP, because a car that doesn't follow the rules is a car that's begging for trouble. Number 5. Overusing sport mode. Sport mode feels exciting. It sharpens throttle response, holds gears longer, and makes your car feel alive. But using it all the time? That's where things go wrong. Sport mode is designed for performance, not everyday traffic. It keeps your engine revving higher, burns through more fuel, and puts extra strain on your transmission. That aggressive acceleration might feel fun, but it's quietly wearing out components faster than necessary. And if you're using sport mode in city traffic, get ready for a jerky, uncomfortable ride. The throttle becomes overly sensitive, downshifts feel rough, and stop-and-go driving turns into a headache. Instead of a smooth cruise, you're constantly battling your car's eagerness to go, 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 which isn't exactly ideal when crawling through rush hour. So make sure to use sport mode when it makes sense, like on open roads or when you actually need the extra power. But for daily driving, let your car relax. Your engine, transmission, and gas tank will thank you. We're almost to the bonus tip that could save you from one of the costliest repairs most drivers never see coming. Don't miss it. Number 4, misusing manual mode. Switching to manual mode in an automatic car feels exciting. You're in control, shifting gears like a pro. But here's the catch. If you don't know how to use it properly, you could be doing more harm than good. Manual mode lets you choose gears, but if you hold on to a low gear too long, your engine screams at high RPMs, putting unnecessary strain on your transmission. On the flip side, upshifting too soon can make your car sluggish, forcing the engine to work harder than it should. Neither scenario is good for your car or your wallet. And then there's the safety risk. Downshifting at the wrong time, especially at high speeds, can cause sudden deceleration or even wheel lockup. Imagine trying to pass another car, only to feel your vehicle jolt unpredictably because you chose the wrong gear. Not fun. So better start by learning how your manual mode works. Watch your RPMs, practice in safe conditions, and don't just guess your way through shifting. Because manual mode isn't just a cool feature, it's a tool. And like any tool, using it wrong can lead to a costly disaster. Number 3, resting your hand on the gear stick. It's comfortable, right? Cruising down the road, one hand on the wheel, the other casually resting on the gear stick. But while it might feel harmless, this habit could be setting you up for trouble. First off, it's a control issue. Keeping one hand on the gear stick means you've got less control over the steering wheel. In an emergency, those extra milliseconds it takes to react could be the difference between a close call and a costly mistake. And while automatic transmissions don't suffer the same mechanical wear as manuals, constant pressure on the shifter can cause unnecessary strain on the linkage and bushings over time. Worst case? A loose, imprecise gear selector that doesn't feel quite right when you shift. Then there's the awkward possibility of an accidental shift. Unlikely, maybe, but nudging your car into neutral, or worse, another gear, at the wrong time is a risk you don't need. Number 2, turning the wheel while stationary. Ever cranked your steering wheel left and right while parked, trying to squeeze into a tight space? You're not alone. But here's the bad news. This habit, known as dry steering, is putting unnecessary strain on your car. When you turn the wheel while your car is stationary, your front tires grind against the pavement with full force. That extra friction wears them down unevenly, shortening their lifespan and costing you money on replacement sooner than expected. And it doesn't stop there. Dry steering also puts serious stress on your power steering system, including the pump, tie rods, and steering rack. Over time, this added strain can lead to expensive repairs. The fix: always let your car roll slightly before turning the wheel. Even a small movement reduces the pressure on your tires and steering components. Plus, your car will handle more smoothly, making parking feel effortless. Number 1, ignoring transmission warning lights. We've all done it, seen a warning light on the dash and thought, hey, it's probably nothing. But when it comes to your transmission, that little light isn't just a suggestion. It's a flashing, blinking red flag that your car is begging for help. Ignore it, and you could be in for a nightmare. Transmission warning lights usually mean trouble, overheating, slipping gears, or low fluid levels. At first, it might just be a slight delay when shifting. Then, before you know it, your car is jerking between gears, refusing to accelerate or worse, stranding you on the side of the road. And let's not even talk about the repair bill when minor issues spiral into full-blown transmission failure. A simple fix today, like adding fluid or replacing a worn component, could save you thousands in repairs tomorrow. And if safety wasn't enough motivation, think resale value. A car with unresolved transmission issues? That's a hard sell. So, if that warning light comes on, Listen to it. Your wallet and your car will thank you. If you thought these mistakes were costing you, wait until you see the hidden car secrets that could actually save you money and extend your car's life. I'm talking about pro tips most drivers have never even heard of. Don't miss it. Click here for 15 car secrets most drivers never heard about. See you there.